Okay, so we're solving 2y equals negative 4y plus 18. And the question is, how do you know which one to get rid of? The answer is, it doesn't matter as long as you do the same thing to both sides. And why don't you just go ahead and try something and see what happens, and you'll learn from your mistakes anyway, you know? Like, to me, there's something here that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, it's partly because I've been teaching this class, but it's partly because it does make sense. I mean, that you want to get numbers on one side, letters on the other. I mean, you want your numbers on one side of the equation, and you want your letters on the other side of the equation. To me, that, like, it does make sense to do that. Because we're trying to get y equals some number in the end, like y equals 5, or 7, or negative 2, or whatever. Does that make sense? Like, we're solving for y. So it makes perfect sense to me anyway, that's why you need to get your y's on one side and your numbers on the other, right? So how do we get all the y's on one side and numbers on the other? In other words, how can we just leave this 18 where it is? How can we isolate the 18, right? That's how we think about it. Right. Well, we tried to get rid of this negative 4y. This is messing up our life. Because if the equation was just something like, 2y equals 18, that's fine. We can just divide by 2, right? But it's not that. Because we have this darn negative 4y, which is ruining our life right now, and we need to get rid of that. So we add 4y to make it go away, to make it 0, right? So we're adding 4y. Because you have to, because the equation is like a scales balance. And if you add something to one side, you must also add it to the other side. So negative 4y plus 4y is 0, isn't it? And 2y plus 4y is 6y. Right. Negative 4y plus 4y is 0. That makes 0. It's kind of like negative 4 apples plus 4 apples, 0. No apples. 0 apples. Or negative 4 cherries plus 4 cherries makes what? No cherries. 0 cherries, or 0. So negative 4y plus 4y makes 0. And so on the right hand side we just have the 18. And now the equation looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? It's just 6y equals 18. How do we solve this? Right. Right. We take this whole thing here, divide it by 6. And we also divide this side by 6. So we did the same thing to both sides of the scale balance. We divided both sides by 6. And we get 1y, as you said, which is the same thing as y. Like 1y or y equals. And then 6 divided by 18, which is 3 over 1, which is just 3. Yeah, this is not 6 divided by 18. This is 18 divided by 6. Right, and that's why it's 3. Yep, 18 divided by 6. Yep. And so that's the answer, and we can check that in the original equation. 2 times that equals negative 4 times that plus 18. The answer was 3, wasn't it? Plug 3 in for y in the original equation. What's 2 times 3? 6. What's negative 4 times 3? Negative 12 plus 18. What's negative 12 plus 18? Yes, so we got 6 on both sides, and so this works. And so, yes, x equals 3 is the correct answer, right? Okay with that? So this checked. The equation checked out. Now, just for fun, what would happen if we did something different? Well, nothing really, as long as you don't mess it up. I mean, as long as you do the same thing to both sides. I mean, you could subtract 2y from both sides if you want to, and that would give you 0. You must put down 0 equals negative 6y plus 18. And at this point you could subtract 18 from both sides, and that's okay. Negative 18 equals negative 6y. How would you get y in its own here? Divide by negative 6, and you divide that side by negative 6. What's negative 18 over negative 6? Positive 3. Positive 3, correct, it is. It would be positive 3. And on this side, it's negative 6y over negative 6, which makes not 0, which makes y. Because look, negative 6 over negative 6 is what? It's 1. It's not 0, it's 1. Yep, so that's 1y, or y. 3y equals 3. And is that the same thing as we got last time? Yeah, so we did a crazy route. We did all sorts of crazy things, but we didn't make a mistake. Like it just wasn't the neatest way to do it. The neatest way is to just go, hey, let's just get rid of that stupid negative 4y, and now we've got 18 all on its own, because we got numbers on one side, letters on the other. This first way we did it was more efficient. Yeah, it was neater. But there's lots of ways of doing it. I mean, you could subtract 18 from both sides if you want to, but just don't make a mistake, because these are not like terms. 2y minus 18 equals negative 4y. And then you could subtract 2y from both sides, for example, and then you get negative 18 equals, what's negative 4y minus 2y? Negative 6y. And then to get y on its own, what do you do? Divide by negative 6. What's negative 18 over negative 6? 3. So 3 equals y, right? So we got another way as well. So there's lots of ways of doing it. It's just that adding the 4y was nice. It was a nice way. It's not the right way, it's just the nice way, okay? It's just a happy, easy way. It doesn't mean it's there's lots of ways. There's lots of ways. And you should get y equals 3 as long as you don't make a mistake with your math, you know? Like, you got to make sure to do the same thing to both sides, and watch out for adding like terms. Don't mess up your negative numbers, and you'll get the right answer. That's all.